with Tibet, I think it's very important that who is making the decision, who gets the benefited, and at what cost. Let me tell you one story, the real story that happened this year. In February 2024, Tibetans from Eastern Tibet, they gathered at the Chinese local official office and with the Chinese flag and asking the Chinese authority to stop damming at the Dichu River, which is Yangtso River in international name, and in Chinese it is called Jingsha. The Tibetans, they went with the Chinese flag because they got scared that they might be blamed or politicized the whole day effort. But what was the result? They were met with the assault, arrest, and detention. And with this force, dam building, they say that we have to relocate the Tibetan population. 2 villages will be relocated, and 6 Tibetan Buddhist monasteries will be submerged when this dam is built. And these protests, non-violent protests, have been going for like 2 months. People got arrested, and then all of a sudden, internets were shut down. Outside journalists, none of them were allowed, and now we don't know what is happening in that village. We don't know the status, and recently 13 UN special rapporteurs, they issue a statement to the Chinese government asking about the status of this dam, but we don't know. So the question is, if they build the dam, 6 historical Buddhist monasteries will be submerged, and more than 4,000 Tibetans will be forcefully relocated. But the question is, who is getting benefited from this dam? Who is making the decision? And at this age, when everything is controlled by state and where people are not consulted, then it would be difficult whether hydropower is the solution for the green economy.
Do you want to say something more about similar situation in Sweden? I think in your book you wrote, maybe it was the Sami people who said that we cannot decide anything and they get the profit.
Well, yes. So when you look at the situation for the Sami people in the green transition, it's very, very. They are under very severe pressure. Just to take one example, the Gällivare Sami community, they seem to have quite a big land of 8,000 square kilometers, but there they have the mine of LKAB in Malmberget. They have this big Aitik mine, which I showed, where it's very complicated to pass with the reindeer. Then they have the E10, the big highway with all the heavy transports. They have the Malmbanan and the Haparandabanan railways. They have industrial forestry on almost all of their lands. Then they have a lot of snowmobile traffic and natural tourism. And now there are 3 large wind farms being built. And one of the reindeer herders that I interviewed said, the green transition, that will be the thing that's killing us. So, and it's a similar situation in many of the Sami communities.
And now you were talking quite a lot about mining in northern Sweden. Can you say something about Tibet?
Yes, thank you. I think mining, it's also related earlier as I was talking about the grassland degradation and forced relocation of Tibetan nomads, right? So this has our implication in terms of mining, because once the Tibetan nomads are relocated or forcefully removed from their grassland, who gets the ownership of the land? It's the government. And once people from that area are removed, then the local Tibetan populations are not there to protect their land from projects like mining. And so mining has been, I think, I sometimes feel like it's a, I don't know whether it's a blessing or not, but Tibet has a huge mineral resources. And Chinese news agencies, they officially announced saying that some of the Tibetan areas has, reached, especially the lithium mining, and we have more than 126, rare earth minerals found in Tibet. But all these minerals are right now, operated by the state-owned enterprise, and in some cases they have a partnership with the international companies as well. And with that mining, it has an implication in terms of for the local people, because with the Tibetans we believe in sacred mountains, sacred rivers, and in terms of environment protection and protest, mining has been the major causes of environment protest in Tibet. And because since these minings are happening at the sacred mountains, Tibetans come out and protest. But what is the final solution? Has there been any positive result? It is yet to say anything right now.
So you can see, I think all of us, we like a green transition, but it's not that easy. There are a lot of problems with the green transition. Would you like to say something more about this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you're saying that the mining has been the cause of major environmental protests, because that actually is a kind of international phenomena that we see all over the world, that modern mining projects cause big protests. We see it in Serbia around the plans for a big lithium mine. The government of Panama stopped one of the biggest copper mines in the world after large protests all over the country. So, and we see it in Sweden also. So this is really part of an international trend, that people are not accepting these big mining projects.
So you can see in this way, the green transition is connected to questions of human rights. Can you say a little more?
Yes, thank you. With human rights, I think, honestly speaking, for me, as experience of Tibetan being in exile, and with the case of Tibet, I don't like the term green transition at all, because it's the people who are in the top government, they are the ones who makes policies, and they never consult the local population. And with the case of Tibetans, we don't have any official representation at the so-called UN, the biggest climate change conference, COP meetings, because we are not a member of UN. And so we don't have any official representation at these meetings. And with the human rights, I think when it comes to climate change or infrastructure development, environment impact assessment is really, really important. But environment impact assessment doesn't work in Tibet. It's the Chinese who gives the permission. Government, Chinese government has a connection with the mining companies, and they are the ones who gives permission, right? And then freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, those kinds are completely missing in Tibet, and we don't have a single organized environment NGOs in Tibet, so I think in terms of unless and until there is no freedom on a land, and then how can we protect the environment? How can we have the so-called green transition when people are not protected, and it's the colonizer who is deciding on the land, and local people have no beneficial, and they are no say in the whole policy making and decision making. So I think human rights violation is happening inside Tibet, and it has both impact on environment, mining, and other, the policies. And right now, China is seeing Tibet, because at the international level, And with the recent US election, so some people are saying that maybe China could be the world, climate leader. And with that, green energy, they are using Tibet to promote at the international level, saying that we are focusing on, a green economy or green transition at the cost of, the environment disaster in Tibet by, building hydropower dams and doing massive, minings